There's a problem. The Commission representative won't be here for 13 yet, or isn't here yet, so we'll move on to 14. This will be presented by the representative of the Spanish Authority, which has to do with the autoroute CA33 on noise pollution from an urban motorway in Cadiz, Spain, allegedly in breach of Directive 2002/49/EC relating to the assessment and management of environmental noise. You have the floor, sir. Thank you very much, Chairman. Ladies and gentlemen, members of the Parliament, CA33 runs through the city of San Fernando. 1 year ago, we asked for the Petitions Committee to intervene with the Spanish government. 20 years ago, an highway was built which ran through the Norte Azul. This was built in a urban zone and a rural and a residential zone. The distance to the buildings was between 5 and 10 meters, which violated the law on highways, which said that there should be at least 100 meters distance. There are more than 5,000 vehicles which use this highway every day. The high speed of the vehicles create noise. According to the WHO, the consequences of constant exposure to noise create difficulties of concentration, stress, tension, insomnia, and digestive difficulties, muscular problems. Children are the most vulnerable. The ministry in 2008 established acoustic walls which didn't solve the problem. There's very little distance between the highway and the houses. The noise pollution existed before and after the construction of these panels. This has been measured several times by staff of the acoustics laboratory. That is, staff of the same ministry that constructed the panels. The acoustics laboratory, in its report, said that the minimum values were exceeded. The head of the unit of highways in Cadiz and the head of the laboratory disagreed and referred to an autonomous rule of 96 which excluded noise from traffic. And the rule they're referring to were adopted in line with the 49/202 directive. So state norms and the EC rules are being violated. Their objectives are to reduce noise from the main sources, especially vehicles traveling on roads. The ministry has established plans to combat noise, but the construction of acoustic panels has not resolved the problem. We need more than the simple construction of acoustic panels. There could be a change in the traffic. or we could change the surface of the road. If we have to live with a highway at our doorsteps, then it should be submerged underground so that we can improve the quality of our lives. 6 months ago, we wrote to the Commission but have yet to receive a reply. We asked the Commission to intervene so that those affected by the noise could have their rights respected, which the Ministry has violated. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Mr. Pariotti for the Commission.
Thank you. Good morning. Never mind. There are 2 points which are of relevance to be understood in the specific petition. The first point is the execution of an action plan. This is an obligation that comes out of the directive. And in that sense, whenever the petition regards the request to have an action plan implemented, the petition is right. But as it was already communicated, the Directive 2002/49 EC specifically addressed that the measures within the action plans are at the discretion of the competent authorities. The fact that there are limit values in place is one of the possible conditions that the directive requires to use to establish where to intervene. But the national authorities are competent for deciding if, when, and how to intervene. Therefore, to the purpose of the application of the Environmental Noise Directive, any measure is acceptable, provided that it is simply discussed with the citizens and provided that the plan is done and reported to the Commission within the deadline set. Eventually, the next plan is foreseen for the 18th of January 2013, in the sense that the directive foresees within that deadline to redraw action plans that have to normally be drawn every 5 years. There is another point which is raised by the petitioner, and this regards the applicability of different Spanish regulations concerning the limits in place. For that specific issue, we have inquired informally the Spanish authorities so as to understand if there was some basis, and we will eventually formally inquire them. The order of 23 February 1996 is very old and is not in force anymore. So what has been reported by the Spanish authorities, so the general law, is the general law which is in force. On this issue, there are ongoing talks with the Spanish authorities to understand and to check if they have reported correctly. The Spanish authorities has, in the last few days, made another set of reporting, and specifically they addressed the fact that the Decree 326/2003 from the Andalusian government was repealed by the entry of the new Decree 6/2012. The last point that was raised is the effectiveness of the noise barriers. Concerning the effectiveness of the noise barriers, again, because the directive foresees the member states to decide their own measures, if the member states have decided that these measures are the appropriate one, that from a Commission's perspective, they are not in breach with the EU regulation. Thank you.
Yo no sé si antes de darle al señor Guerrero hay algún compañero que quiera hacer.
I don't know if any other colleague would like to say anything. Speaking as a member, of my group, the EPP, it seems to me there are two issues. You in the Commission, you are saying that the petitioner is right to have brought his petition here. I wanted to ask you about something. The petitioner says that he asked for a reply from the Commission 6 months ago, and the Commission didn't reply. Do you know about this request, which was unanswered? I would be surprised, I would be concerned that the petitioners did not receive the information they asked for. And in 2013, there'll be a new directive. I don't know if they can have some replies on the basis of the new directive to their situation. I'd be grateful to hear your comments on that.
Yes, sure. We have received all the information. I have it here with me. We have read again. There was no new information concerning the application of the Environmental Noise Directive with respect to the latest communication from the Commission. But because the Spanish authorities has submitted the last days this partial information on the application of the methods, we have informally inquired them, and we will eventually formally inquire them. So you understand that unless we don't have a final answer from the Spanish authorities, it doesn't make sense, because there is so far no new information on the issue. Concerning different directives, I apologize, I was not clear. There are no different directives. There's just one directive, European Environmental Noise Directive. That's the one that applies. The deadline of 18 January 2013 is a new deadline to have new action plans produced by the member states, also in the case of the petition. So this was an extra information that we wanted to provide to the petitioner to explain that there is another chance to involve with the national authorities and to ask for other actions at national authorities, eventually, if so. But it is competence of the national authorities. The European Commission will only receive and verify that the action plans will be, in fact, adopted within this deadline.
Muy bien, pero como usted ha...
Thank you. But as you said, that you are still looking into this issue, then I think we have to leave this petition open until we have the results of the research you yourself say that you're carrying out. All right? I don't know if you wanted to add anything, just to finish off on the subject, and then we'll finish. Well, I'd like to say to the Commission's representative that the platform knows that action plans were drawn up 5 years ago. I'm pleased to know that the rules are no longer applicable, that are being applied by the Ministry. We look forward to your research. We want to have the current rules applied and not other rules. Well, thank you very much. We can move on to number 15. Sorry. I didn't know.
Else that we have to postpone later? No, only this one and the another one. Okay. So nosotros continuamos entonces con la número 16.
So we can move on to 16. No?